My beloved child, come closer. This is between you and me. We need to talk. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel stronger. Not when you have everything figured out. Right now. Because there is something stirring inside your heart that you have been trying to ignore. A quiet ache. A restless thought that keeps returning when the room is silent and the lights are low. You have been pushing it aside, telling yourself you are fine, telling others you are fine. But I see deeper than the surface you present to the world. You have been carrying questions you are afraid to ask out loud. You have been holding emotions you do not know how to name. Part of you wonders why you feel this weight when you have tried so hard to be strong. Part of you wonders if anyone truly sees the effort it takes just to get through some days. I see it. I have always seen it. This is not an accident, this moment. You did not stumble into these words by chance. I have drawn you here because your heart has been whispering to me, even when your lips have been silent. And I will not ignore the whisper of my child. There are things you have buried deep, disappointments you never fully processed, prayers that seemed unanswered, doors that closed without explanation. You told yourself to move on. You told yourself not to feel it so deeply. But the weight did not disappear. It simply settled quietly within you. And now you feel it again, don't you? That subtle tension, that wondering, a sense that something must change, that something must be faced. You may not even know what it is exactly. You just know you cannot keep pretending that everything is untouched by what you have endured. My beloved child, I am not calling you into this conversation to scold you. I am not here to list your failures or measure your faith. I am here because I love you too much to let you walk another step feeling alone in your own thoughts. There is a tenderness in this moment, a sacred pause, as if the noise of the world has faded so that you and I can sit together without interruption. Let the rush slow down. Let your breathing steady. This is not a confrontation. It is an invitation. You have been strong for everyone else. You have shown up. You have endured. But strength was never meant to mean silence. And resilience was never meant to mean isolation. I did not design your heart to carry hidden burdens without my embrace. So listen carefully, my beloved. The fact that you feel this pull right now means something beautiful is about to unfold. Conversations like this are not born from despair. They are born from love. They are the beginning of healing, the doorway to clarity, the first light before a new dawn. Stay with me. Do not turn away. What we speak of next will touch the places you have kept guarded. But I promise you this, every word I speak will be wrapped in compassion. This is between you and me, and I am not going anywhere. My beloved child, now that you are here with me, let me speak to the place you rarely allow anyone to see. I see what you have not told anyone. I see the way you pause before answering when someone asks if you are okay. I see how you measure your words, how you give just enough truth to be honest but not enough to be exposed. You have mastered the art of appearing steady while your heart quietly trembles beneath the surface. But nothing about you is hidden from me. I see the nights when your thoughts refuse to be still, when the house is quiet, and yet your mind grows loud. You replay conversations. You revisit mistakes. You imagine different endings to moments that have already passed. You wonder if you could have done more, said less, tried harder, chosen differently. And though you would never admit it openly, there are times you feel tired of carrying your own mind. I see the tears you wiped away quickly so no one would ask questions. I saw the moment your voice almost cracked, but you swallowed the emotion before it escaped. I was there when you forced a smile, when you changed the subject, when you decided it was easier to be the strong one than the honest one. My beloved child, you do not have to protect me from your truth. I know about the disappointment that still lingers, the opportunity that slipped through your hands, the relationship that shifted without warning, the prayer you whispered with hope, only to be met with silence. You told yourself to be mature about it. You told yourself not to dwell on it. But your heart does not function like a machine. It feels deeply because I created it that way. There are wounds you have minimized. You compare your pain to others and convince yourself you have no right to feel hurt. So you shrink your sorrow. You silence your confusion. You dismiss your own need for comfort. Yet I tell you now, your pain matters to me, not because it is dramatic, but because it is yours. I see the pressure you put on yourself, the invisible standard you are always trying to reach. You believe that if you just become a little better, a little more disciplined, a little more patient, then you will finally feel at peace. But peace does not come from perfection. It comes from presence. And I am present with you now. You have been afraid that if you slowed down, everything you have been holding together might fall apart. So you keep moving. You stay busy. You stay distracted. Because motion feels safer than stillness. Yet here you are, in this quiet moment with me, and nothing is falling apart. In fact, something within you is finally being acknowledged. My beloved child, I see the courage it took for you to keep going when you felt unseen. I see the silent battles you fought without applause. I see the kindness you gave even when your own heart felt empty. And I am proud of you, not for being flawless, but for being faithful in ways no one else noticed. Let me say this clearly, you are not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You are not failing because you feel uncertain. You are human, and you are deeply loved. There is nothing you could confess to me that would cause me to withdraw. There is no emotion you could express that would surprise me. I already know, and I am still here, closer than your next breath. You have spent so much energy trying to be understood. But before anyone else understands you, I do. Completely. Fully. Without conditions. So let your shoulders relax for a moment. Let the mask slip, even if only here with me. You do not need to impress me. You do not need to edit yourself. This is a safe place. And as we continue this conversation, know this truth deep within your spirit. The parts of you that feel too messy, too complicated, too fragile, those are the very places I am drawing near to heal. You are seen, my beloved child. Entirely seen. And you are not alone. My beloved child, there is something I must gently place before your heart now. You have been carrying too much alone. You have convinced yourself that this is strength. You have told yourself that maturity means handling it quietly. You have believed that love means protecting others from your burdens. So you tighten your grip. You straighten your back. You say, "I've got it," even when your arms are trembling. But I did not create you to be a solitary pillar holding up the entire sky. Picture a traveler walking a long road with bags hanging from both shoulders, hands full, pockets heavy. At first, the weight seems manageable. But mile after mile, step after step, the load becomes exhausting. Not because the traveler is weak, but because no one is meant to walk that far alone. My beloved, you have been that traveler. You carry responsibilities that stretch you thin. You carry expectations, some spoken, many unspoken. You carry memories that still sting. You carry fears about the future. And beneath it all, you carry the quiet belief that if you let any of it drop, everything will unravel. Listen to me closely. Your exhaustion is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that your soul is asking for partnership. You were never meant to solve every problem by yourself. You were never meant to heal every wound without help. Even now, you are trying to calculate how to fix what feels broken, how to control what feels uncertain. But control has never been your calling. Trust is. When you insist on holding everything alone, you deny yourself the comfort I freely offer. I am not watching from a distance, waiting for you to collapse. I am standing beside you, hands open, ready to take what is crushing your spirit. There are burdens you picked up that were never assigned to you. Other people's expectations, other people's moods, other people's consequences. You carry them as if they are yours to manage, and it has made your heart tired. Release them to me. There are mistakes from your past that you replay, as if reliving them will somehow undo them. But guilt is a weight that cannot change yesterday. It only steals today. Place it in my hands. There are worries about tomorrow that circle your mind endlessly. But worry has never secured the future. It only drains the present. Lay down. My beloved child, I am not asking you to deny your responsibilities. I am asking you to share them. Let me walk with you. Let me carry what you cannot. Right now, take a slow breath. Imagine placing every heavy thought, every lingering fear, every silent ache into my hands. Feel the shift. Feel the lightness beginning, even if only slightly. You do not have to prove your worth by how much you can endure. Your worth was established long before your struggles began. If these words are loosening something inside you, if you feel even a small release in your spirit, then do not keep this moment to yourself. Bless this message with a like so it can travel farther than you ever could. Share it with 3 souls who are quietly carrying their own heavy loads. And hype this video so it rises and reaches hearts that are on the edge of giving up. Subscribe and remain close to these conversations, because I will continue to speak life over you. Now hear me again, gently and firmly. You are not alone in this. Strength is not gripping tighter. Strength is knowing when to open your hands. And when you open them toward me, I will never let them remain empty. I am your refuge, not your critic. I am your support, not your scorekeeper. You do not have to earn my help. You only have to receive it. So come closer still. Let the illusion of isolation fade. We are walking this road together now, and the weight that once bent your shoulders will not define the rest of your journey. You have carried enough, my beloved child. Let me carry you for a while. My beloved child, as you open your hands to me and release what has weighed you down, understand this. What I pour into you is not meant to stop with you. This is between you and me. Yes, but it is also for the weary soul who has not yet heard my whisper. When you give through super thanks, when you become a member, when you sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are placing seed into living soil. And I have said, as long as the earth remains, seed diamond harvest shall not cease, and I speak it over you now. Your generosity becomes oil in the lamp, keeping this light burning for those walking through midnight. It becomes bread multiplied in my hands, feeding thousands you may never meet. Do you feel the stirring to help? That stirring is me inviting you into partnership. This is not a transaction. It is participation in rescue. As you sow, I will multiply. As you release, I will replenish. As you build my house, I will establish yours. Now act, give, support, and become part of the harvest I am gathering. My beloved child, now that you have loosened your grip on what you were never meant to carry alone, let us speak about something even quieter. Let us speak about the fear you do not name. You rarely say it out loud. You disguise it with logic. You cover it with busyness. You soften it with phrases like, "I'm just being realistic." But beneath your careful explanations, there is a tremor in your heart. A question that whispers, "What if I fail? What if I lose? What if I am not enough?" Fear does not always shout. Sometimes it breathes softly against your confidence. Sometimes it hides behind caution. Sometimes it looks like perfectionism. And sometimes it looks like hesitation when you are standing at the edge of something new. I see it. I see the way you pause before stepping forward. I see how you prepare yourself for disappointment before anything has even happened. You tell yourself that expecting less will hurt less. You think bracing your heart will protect it. But bracing is exhausting, is it not? My beloved child, fear is a shadow, and shadows only appear when light is present. The very fact that you feel fear means there is something bright ahead of you, something meaningful enough to threaten the darkness that once felt familiar. But fear has never held authority over your destiny. It has influenced your choices. It has slowed your steps. It has convinced you to shrink in rooms where you were meant to stand tall. Yet it has never rewritten what I have spoken over your life. You fear failure, but you forget how many times you have already risen. You fear rejection, but you forget that your worth was never determined by human approval. You fear loss, but you forget that I am your constant, your unshakable foundation. Let me tell you a story, my beloved. There was once a child learning to swim. The water felt deep and uncertain. The child clung tightly to the edge of the pool, convinced that letting go would mean sinking. But the parent stood just a few steps away, arms open, ready. The water was not the danger. The fear was. You are that child sometimes, gripping the edge of what feels safe. But I am closer than you realize. And what you call deep water may actually be the place where you finally discover how capable you are. Fear magnifies the unknown. It paints worst-case pictures in your mind. It tells you that one mistake will define you, that one loss will destroy you, that one risk will undo everything. But fear is a storyteller that rarely tells the truth. I am the author of your story, and I do not write endings of despair over my children. There are opportunities you have quietly considered but quickly dismissed. There are conversations you have postponed. There are dreams you folded neatly and placed on a shelf because trying felt too vulnerable. You have told yourself, maybe later. But sometimes later is just fear wearing a polite disguise. My beloved child, courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement in spite of it. And you are more courageous than you think. Every time you got out of bed when your heart felt heavy, that was courage. Every time you tried again after disappointment, that was courage. Every time you chose kindness when bitterness would have been easier, that was courage. Fear wants you to believe you are fragile, but you are resilient. Fear wants you to believe you are alone, but I am with you. Fear wants you to believe you must control every outcome, but trust is far more powerful than control. Bring your unnamed fears into the light with me. Whisper them if you must. Admit them without shame. I will not mock them. I will not dismiss them. I will gently dismantle them. Because when you walk with me, fear does not get the final word. I do, my beloved child. And my word over you is life, hope, and a future that fear cannot steal. My beloved child, there is a moment in your life that quietly divided your story into before and after. You do not speak of it often. You may not even think of it every day. What it shaped you. It shifted something deep inside your heart. It taught you to be more careful, more guarded, more aware of how quickly things can change. Perhaps it was a betrayal you never saw coming, a promise that dissolved, a goodbye that felt too sudden. Perhaps it was a failure that embarrassed you, or a rejection that made you question your value. Whatever it was, it marked you. Before that moment, you were softer in certain ways. You trusted more easily. You hoped without bracing yourself. You believed that if you gave your best, it would always be enough. But after that moment, something tightened within you. You built walls, not because you were cold, but because you were protecting something tender. You told yourself that caution was wisdom, and sometimes it was. But sometimes it also became a shield that kept even good things at a distance. I was there when it happened. I saw the expression on your face. I felt the confusion in your heart. I heard the questions forming in your mind. Why did this happen? What did I do wrong? Could I have prevented this? And when no immediate answer came, you filled the silence with self-blame. My beloved child, not everything that breaks was broken because of you. There are storms that arrive without your invitation. There are choices others make that ripple into your life. There are seasons of loss that are not punishments but passages. Yet in that moment, you internalized the pain. You let it shape how you saw yourself. You became stronger, yes, but you also became more guarded. You learned how to anticipate disappointment. You learned how to detach just enough to survive. You learned how to tell yourself, I'll be fine, even when your heart was still bleeding. But here is what you must understand. Surviving is not the same as healing. You moved forward, but you never truly allowed yourself to sit with a wound. You pressed on because life demanded it. Responsibilities did not pause. Time did not slow down. So you carried the unresolved ache into the next chapter. And now, sometimes, it resurfaces. In small triggers, in sudden emotions that seem bigger than the moment requires. In hesitation when something good begins to unfold. You wonder why you react so strongly. You wonder why you feel afraid to hope too much. It is because that moment still echoes in you. Let me gently touch that memory with you now. Not to reopen it, but to redeem it. Close your eyes for a moment in your spirit and return there, not to relive the pain, but to see me standing beside you in it. I was not absent. I was not indifferent. Even when you felt alone, I was holding what you could not. The breaking you experienced did not destroy you. It revealed your depth. It revealed your capacity to endure. It revealed your resilience. But it was never meant to define the rest of your story. You are not the sum of that moment. You are not permanently damaged because something hurt deeply. You are not disqualified from joy because you experienced loss. That chapter shaped you, but it does not own you. My beloved child, I am able to take what wounded you and weave wisdom from it. I can soften the hardened edges without removing the strength you gained. I can restore your ability to trust without making you naive. Healing does not mean pretending it never happened. It means allowing me to breathe peace into it. That moment changed you, yes, but it did not end you. And it certainly did not surprise me. Your story is still unfolding, and what felt like a breaking point may one day be seen as the place where deeper compassion, deeper clarity, and deeper faith began to grow. Stay with me in this. I am not afraid of your past, and you no longer have to be either. My beloved child, let me take you deeper now, into the place where your memory still feels tender. You remember the moment that changed you. You remember how it felt. But there is something you have not fully seen. I was there when it happened, not watching from a distance, not waiting for you to figure it out alone. I was there in the room. I was there in the silence after the words were spoken. I was there in the car ride home when your thoughts were racing. I was there in the tears you tried to hold back. You may have felt abandoned. You may have wondered why I did not stop it, why I did not intervene in the way you hoped. But my presence is not measured only by prevention. Sometimes my deepest protection is hidden within what you survive. There were details you did not notice. There were outcomes that could have been worse, yet were quietly restrained. There were paths that could have led you into greater harm, yet were redirected. There were lessons forming beneath the surface, even while you were simply trying to breathe through the pain. My beloved child, when a parent teaches a little one to walk, there are moments when the child stumbles. The parent does not push the child down, but neither does the parent remove every uneven surface. Why? Because balance is learned through movement. Strength is developed through resistance. When you stumbled, I did not step away. I steadied you in ways you did not recognize. I sent comfort through unexpected conversations. I gave you small moments of relief in the middle of the storm. I kept your heart from hardening completely, even when it had every reason to. You thought you were holding yourself together, but it was my grace that kept you from falling apart. There were nights when you lay awake, replaying everything. You questioned your worth. You questioned your judgment. You questioned me. And still, your heart kept beating with hope. That was not an accident. That was me sustaining you. I know you wished for a different outcome. I know you prayed for reversal. But sometimes what feels like loss is actually protection wearing unfamiliar clothes. If I had shown you the full picture then, you would not have understood it. The pain was loud. The confusion was overwhelming. But time has revealed small pieces, has it not? You have seen how certain paths closing led to new ones opening. You have noticed how your discernment sharpened. You have recognized a deeper empathy growing inside you. You are not who you were before that moment. But you are not ruined. You are refined. And refinement does not happen in comfort alone. Gold is purified in fire, not because it is worthless, but because it is precious. My beloved child, I never delight in your suffering. I do not celebrate your tears, but I never waste them either. Every tear you cried was counted. Every silent plea was heard. Every trembling breath was known. You were not invisible in your pain, even when others misunderstood you, even when no one fully grasped the depth of what you felt. I understood. Obliquely. There were angels assigned to guard what you could not see. There were dangers diverted without your awareness. There were consequences softened by mercy. What you experienced was real, yes, but what you were spared was also real. Trust this. If I carried you through that, I will carry you through what lies ahead. Your survival was not luck. It was love. And now, as you look back, do not only see what hurt you, see also what held you. See the unseen hand that steadied your steps. See the quiet strength that was placed within you at just the right moment. I was there when it happened, my beloved child. And I am here now. The same presence that sustained you then is sustaining you still. My beloved child, when pain lingers long enough, it begins to whisper. And if those whispers are not challenged, they slowly become beliefs. After what you endured, certain thoughts crept quietly into your heart. They did not arrive loudly. They did not announce themselves as lies. They sounded reasonable. They sounded protective. But they were not truth. One of the lies told you that you were not enough, not strong enough, not wise enough, not lovable enough. You replayed moments in your mind and searched for flaws. You examined your words, your actions, your decisions. And each time something went wrong, the lie grew louder. See, this is because of you. Another lie told you that you must guard yourself at all costs, that vulnerability is dangerous, that trust leads to disappointment. So you began to reveal less of your heart. You shared carefully measured pieces, but never the whole. You told yourself this was wisdom, but beneath it was fear. There was also a quieter lie, one that feels almost spiritual. It suggested that perhaps I was disappointed in you, that maybe you failed some unseen test, that if you had prayed harder or believed stronger, things would have turned out differently. And so you carried subtle guilt, not just before others, but before me. My beloved child, let me speak clearly now. Those are not my words. I do not measure you by your worst day. I do not withdraw love when you struggle. I do not expect perfection and then punish humanity. The voice that condemns you relentlessly is not mine. My voice corrects gently. My voice restores. My voice reminds you who you truly are. You are not defined by a single outcome. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not less valuable because something did not work out. You are my beloved child. That identity has not shifted, not even once. The lie of not enough has weighed heavily on you. It has shaped how you walk into rooms. It has influenced how you accept compliments. It has made you downplay your gifts. When someone affirms you, you question their sincerity. When an opportunity appears, you doubt your readiness. But consider this. If you were truly inadequate, you would not have survived what you have survived. You would not still be seeking growth. You would not still care so deeply about becoming better. The very fact that you long to improve is evidence of strength, not deficiency. Another lie told you that your emotions are too much, that your sensitivity is a weakness, that feeling deeply is a liability. But I crafted your heart intentionally. Your compassion, your empathy, your awareness, these are not flaws to suppress. They are gifts to steward. Do not let the world convince you that numbness is strength. True strength is the ability to feel and still move forward. You have also believed that you must earn love through performance, that if you achieve enough, give enough, fix enough, then you will secure your place. But love that must be earned is fragile. My love for you does not fluctuate with your output. It is constant. The enemy of your peace is not always external. Sometimes it is the internal narrative you rehearse. And if a thought does not align with love, hope, and truth, it does not come from me. When the lie says, "You will always fail," answer with truth, "I am learning and growing." When the lie says, "You are alone," answer with truth, "I am held." When the lie says, "You are too broken," answer with truth, "I am being restored." My beloved child, you must begin to notice which voice you are agreeing with. I am not asking you to deny reality. I am asking you to align with truth. You are chosen. You are capable. You are deeply loved. You are becoming stronger, not weaker. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. Let the lies fall away like old garments that no longer fit. They may have felt protective once, but they restrict your movement now. Step into the truth I speak over you. It is gentler. It is stronger. And it sets you free. My beloved child, lean in closely now, because this is something your heart has been wrestling with in silence. You have been carrying the heavy thought that you are falling behind. You watch the lives of others move forward in ways that seem visible and measurable. You see announcements, achievements, celebrations. You see relationships forming, careers advancing, dreams unfolding. And even when you genuinely want to celebrate them, something inside you tightens. A quiet comparison begins. A silent question forms. Why not me? What am I doing wrong? Why does it feel like everyone else is moving ahead while I remain here? You measure your private struggles against their public victories. You compare your unfinished chapters to their polished pages. And without realizing it, you begin to write a harsh story about yourself. But my beloved child, you are not behind. You are in process. Life is not a single file line where everyone advances at the same pace. It is not a staircase where missing one step means permanent delay. It is more like a vast landscape of seasons. Winter does not apologize for not looking like spring. Spring does not compete with autumn. Each season has a purpose, even when it appears barren. Right now, you may feel as though your life looks like winter. Quiet. Still. Unimpressive. You see no blossoms. You hear no applause. But what you cannot see is that roots grow deeper in winter. Strength develops in hidden places. Endurance forms when there is no visible reward. You have mistaken visible progress for real progress. There are things developing within you that cannot be rushed. Your character is being refined. Your discernment is sharpening. Your resilience is strengthening. These are not flashy accomplishments, but they are foundational. And foundations matter more than appearances. You look at timelines and believe there is a universal schedule you must follow. By a certain age, you should have achieved this. By now, you should have overcome that. By this point, you should feel more secure, more settled, more certain. But who decided that timeline? Was it I? I do not measure your life by comparison charts. I measure it by growth, by depth, by authenticity. If I were to hand you everything you desire at once, without preparation, it would not bless you. It would overwhelm you. Some prayers are delayed not because they are denied, but because they require a stronger version of you to sustain them. You are becoming that version. Think of a tree planted near water. For a long time, nothing seems to happen above the surface. But underground, roots are spreading wide and deep. Those roots determine how tall the tree can grow without toppling in the storm. If growth above ground happens too quickly without roots beneath, the first strong wind will uproot it. My beloved child, I care more about your stability than your speed. When you see others flourishing, do not interpret it as your failure. Their bloom does not cancel yours. What is destined for you will not be intercepted by another person's progress. I do not confuse identities. I do not misplace callings. There are doors that have not opened yet because I am still aligning the right timing, the right people, the right version of you. You call it delay. I call it design. And even now, while you question your pace, you are learning patience. While you wrestle with uncertainty, you are building trust. While you wait, you are deepening in ways you will one day be grateful for. Stop labeling yourself as late. You are not late to love. You are not late to purpose. You are not late to joy. You are exactly in the chapter that prepares you for what comes next. Lift your eyes from the comparison. Release the pressure to match someone else's rhythm. Your story was never meant to mirror theirs. I am writing something specific, intentional, and beautiful in your life. And I do not rush masterpieces. You are not falling behind, my beloved child. You are being formed. And when your season of visible growth arrives, it will not be fragile or fleeting. It will be rooted, steady, and aligned with who you have become. Trust my timing. You are right where you need to be. My beloved child, there is a question you have been too gentle to ask directly, yet it has echoed in your spirit more than once. Why have you been quiet? You prayed. You waited. You listened. And in certain seasons, the response you hoped for did not come in the way you expected. No dramatic sign. No unmistakable answer. Just silence. And silence can feel heavy. You began to wonder if I had stepped back. If perhaps you had missed something. If maybe you were no longer hearing me correctly. The quiet made you uneasy. It stirred doubts you did not want to entertain. But listen to me carefully now. My silence is not my absence. There are times when a teacher grows quiet during a test, not because the teacher has abandoned the student, but because the student is ready to apply what has already been taught. The silence is not rejection, it is trust. In the quiet seasons of your life, I was not ignoring you. I was strengthening you. Think of roots growing beneath the surface of the earth. You do not hear them. You do not see them stretching through the soil. There is no applause for their progress. Yet those hidden roots are preparing the tree to stand tall when storms arrive. Silence is often where depth is formed. When I seemed quiet, you learned to search deeper. You learned to sit longer. You learned to trust beyond feelings. If I responded to every prayer instantly, you might lean only on outcomes instead of relationship. But I desire closeness, not just compliance. There were moments when you longed for clear direction. You wanted me to outline the next 5 steps. You wanted certainty before you moved. But instead of giving you the entire map, I gave you the next step. And sometimes even that step required faith. You interpreted the lack of immediate answers as distance. But in truth, I was closer than ever. I was shaping your character in the unseen places. I was pruning distractions. I was aligning circumstances you could not yet perceive. Silence has a purpose. It teaches you to distinguish between noise and truth. It trains your heart to seek me, not just solutions. It builds endurance in your spirit, and it reveals what truly anchors you. My beloved child, some of the growth you are most proud of today was born in seasons when you felt unsure of my voice. Yet you kept walking. You kept believing, even when clarity was thin. That perseverance did not go unnoticed. There were also times when I was speaking, but not in thunder, not in dramatic interruption. I was speaking in gentle nudges and quiet invectives, in small reminders that surfaced in your thoughts. My voice is often softer than you expect. The world is loud. Fear is loud. Comparison is loud. But I am steady. When you felt uncertain, I was guiding through subtle peace. When you hesitated, I was redirecting through closed doors. When you questioned, I was reminding you of truths already planted in your heart. You have grown accustomed to equating movement with noise. But some of the most profound transformations happen in stillness. Do not mistake quiet for abandonment. There are prayers you whispered that are still unfolding. There are answers in motion that have not yet reached your awareness. Timing does not diminish intention. Delay does not cancel devotion. I have never ignored a single cry from your heart. Even when my response was wait, it was wrapped in wisdom. Even when my answer was different than you hoped, it was anchored in protection. And here is something tender for you to remember. Sometimes I grow quiet because I want you to rest, not strive. not analyze, not chase confirmation. Just rest in what you already know about my character. You know that I am faithful. You know that I am good. You know that I have carried you before. Let that knowledge anchor you when words feel few. My beloved child, my silence has never meant distance. It has meant depth. It has meant preparation. It has meant trust. And even in the quietest moments, I have been speaking through my presence. I am here. I have always been here. My beloved child, after the silence, after the waiting, after the questions that stretched your faith, you have arrived at a sacred threshold. This is your turning point. Not because everything around you has suddenly changed. Not because all your problems have disappeared overnight. But because something within you is shifting. And when the heart shifts, the direction of a life begins to change. For a long time, you have been surviving, enduring, managing. You have been putting one foot in front of the other, hoping that clarity would eventually meet you along the way. And though you have grown, you have also carried a quiet fatigue, a sense that you cannot keep living in reaction mode. That awareness is not weakness, it is awakening. A turning point rarely feels dramatic at first. It feels like a decision, a quiet resolve, a moment where you say, I cannot continue like this. It is the instant you choose trust over fear, the instant you choose truth over the lies you once believed, the instant you lift your eyes instead of lowering your expectations. Right now, something inside you is ready to rise. You are beginning to see that you do not have to remain defined by old wounds. You do not have to keep rehearsing the same anxious thoughts. You do not have to accept exhaustion as your normal state. You are recognizing that there is more for you. Not necessarily more possessions or applause, but more peace, more clarity, more strength. This is the moment where you stop negotiating with fear. Fear told you to wait until you feel perfectly ready. But readiness is not the absence of doubt. It is the presence of trust. And you have grown in trust more than you realize. This is the moment where you stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Where you stop apologizing for the space you occupy. Where you stop measuring your progress by someone else's timeline. You are not stepping into arrogance. You are stepping into alignment. My beloved child, I am calling you forward. Forward from the place of replaying what went wrong. Forward from the habit of self-criticism. Forward from the belief that you must earn everything through struggle alone. You have learned enough from that chapter. Now it is time to write the next one. A turning point is not loud. It is intentional. It is waking up and deciding to guard your thoughts. It is choosing forgiveness even when resentment feels justified. It is daring to apply for the opportunity you once dismissed. It is speaking honestly instead of hiding behind politeness. It is praying with expectation instead of hesitation. And I am with you in this shift. You are not leaping blindly. You are stepping with me. The path ahead may still contain challenges, but you will meet them differently now. With steadier faith, with clearer identity, with less desperation for approval and more confidence in who you are becoming. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. The smallest pivot in direction can lead to an entirely new destination over time. What feels like a subtle interchange today will become visible transformation tomorrow. If you sense that this is your moment of decision, do not keep it silent. Bless this message with a like so it reaches others standing at their own crossroads. Share it with someone who needs courage to step forward. Hype this video so it rises and touches hearts that are waiting for a sign. Subscribe and stay close, because this journey of growth is not ending here. My beloved child, You are not stuck. You are not stagnant. You are standing at the edge of renewal. Let this be the day you decide that fear will no longer dictate your pace. Let this be the day you accept that you are capable of more than survival. Let this be the day you walk forward with intention instead of hesitation. This is your turning point, and I am walking into it with you. My beloved child, you stand at a turning point, and this moment is not only about your growth, but about the souls connected to your obedience. This is between you and me, and I am inviting you deeper. When you choose to support this mission through super thanks, membership, or a gift through the PayPal link in the description, you are stepping into alignment with my work. You are sowing into a field ready for harvest. Have I not declared, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over"? I am speaking that promise over you now. Your gift becomes a river that carries my word across nations. It becomes fire that refines, light that guides, manna that sustains the faint-hearted. Do not treat this as small. This is a divine appointment. What you release today, I will return with increase, favor, and protection over your household. Step into this turning point fully, support the work, sow boldly, and watch what I do. My beloved child, now that you have stepped into this turning point, I want to draw your attention to something tender. There is still a wound beneath your strength. You have learned to function with it. You have even learned to smile over it. But it is there, and I am not asking you to ignore it anymore. I am inviting you to let me heal it. Healing is not instant relief. It is not pretending the injury never happened. It is not covering the scar with busyness or distracting yourself with achievement. Healing is a process of restoration. It is allowing what was damaged to be carefully reset, carefully tended, until it becomes strong again. Think of a broken bone. When it first fractures, the pain is sharp and undeniable. But after some time, if it is not set properly, it may heal crooked. It may still function, but not as it was designed to. And sometimes, to heal correctly, the bone must be reset. It can be uncomfortable. It can feel like reopening something that already hurt. Your heart is no different. There are places within you that healed around pain instead of through it. You adapted. You adjusted. You told yourself, "This is just how I am now." But some of those adjustments were built from defense, not freedom. Let me gently reset what was bent by hurt. You may be afraid to look at it too closely. Afraid that if you allow yourself to feel fully, you will unravel. But you will not unravel in my presence. You will be restored. Healing requires honesty. It requires you to admit, even if only to me, that hurt more than I allowed myself to acknowledge. It requires you to stop minimizing your experience just because someone else had it worse. Your pain does not need comparison to be valid. My beloved child, I am not impatient with your process. I do not rush your recovery. I do not demand instant strength. I do not grow weary of your revisiting certain emotions. I understand that healing unfolds in layers. What you thought you had resolved years ago may resurface, not because you failed, but because you are ready to heal more deeply now. Sometimes you have mistaken numbness for healing. You thought that because you no longer cried about it daily, you were fully restored. But numbness is simply the absence of feeling, not the presence of peace. I want to give you peace. Peace that does not avoid memory, but transforms it. Peace that allows you to speak of what happened without feeling defined by it. Peace that quiets the anxious reflexes that still activate when something reminds you of that old pain. Let me tend to the wound. Bring me the resentment that lingers. Bring me the disappointment that still echoes. Bring me the self-blame that tries to resurface. Place them before me without shame. You are not weak for needing healing. You are human. And the fact that you desire wholeness is a sign of growth, not fragility. I am not merely interested in your productivity. I am invested in your restoration. I care about the parts of you that no one else sees. The parts that still feel tender when touched. The parts that hesitate to trust again. Healing will not erase your story. It will redeem it. The scar may remain, but it will no longer ache at every reminder. It will become a testimony of survival, not a trigger of pain. It will remind you of what you endured and how you were carried through it. My beloved child, you do not have to rush this. You do not have to heal on anyone else's timeline. You simply have to remain open. Stay close to me in this process. When old emotions rise unexpectedly, do not panic. When tears surface, do not suppress them. When vulnerability feels uncomfortable, do not retreat. Healing is happening, even now. I am patient. I am gentle. I am faithful. Let me heal that wound, not so you can pretend it never existed, but so you can move forward without carrying its weight. You deserve wholeness, and I am committed to restoring you, piece by piece. My beloved child, as healing begins to touch the deeper places of your heart, there is another doorway I must gently open before you. It is the doorway of forgiveness. I know this word can feel heavy. It can feel unfair. It can even feel impossible at times. Because when someone has wounded you, when trust has been broken, when expectations have been shattered, your heart naturally wants justice. It wants acknowledgement. It wants things made right. And sometimes, those things never come in the way you hoped. So you hold on. Not always outwardly, but inwardly. You replay the offense. You revisit the conversation. You imagine what you would say if given another chance. You carry the memory like a stone in your pocket, small enough to manage, but heavy enough to weigh you down over time. My beloved child, forgiveness is not pretending the wound did not matter. It is not saying what happened was acceptable. It is not excusing harmful behavior. Forgiveness is releasing your right to carry the burden any longer. Bitterness feels powerful at first. It feels like control. It feels like protection. But over time, it becomes a chain. And the one most restricted by the chain is you. When you refuse to forgive, you bind yourself to the pain of the past. You allow yesterday's injury to dictate today's peace. You believe that holding on keeps you safe, but in truth, it keeps you anchored to what hurt you. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is strength. It takes courage to say, I will not allow this to define me. It takes humility to admit that you, too, have needed grace at times. It takes trust to release someone into my hands instead of demanding your own resolution. You fear that if you forgive, you are losing something. But what you are losing is the constant reopening of the wound. Imagine your heart as a room with a door. Every time you replay the hurt, it is as if you open that door and invite the pain back inside. Forgiveness closes the door, not in denial, but in decision. It says, this no longer has authority over my peace. You may ask, but what if they never apologize? My beloved child, your freedom does not depend on their awareness. Your healing does not require their agreement. Forgiveness is an act between you and me before it is ever about them. When you forgive, you are not declaring that the offense was small. You are declaring that your peace is greater. And sometimes, the person you must forgive is yourself. You have carried regret. You have replayed decisions and wished you could rewrite them. You have spoken harshly to yourself for not knowing then what you know now. But growth always comes with hindsight. You cannot expect your past self to have the wisdom you only gain through experience. Release yourself. If I have extended grace to you, why do you withhold it from yourself? If I have not defined you by your mistakes, why do you continue to rehearse them? Forgiveness unlocks something sacred within you. It restores lightness. It allows you to move forward without dragging old weight behind you. It clears space for joy to return without guilt. It does not always happen in a single moment. Sometimes you must choose it again and again when the memory resurfaces. But each time you choose it, the grip of the past weakens. My beloved child, you were not designed to carry resentment as a permanent companion. You were designed for freedom. Let me hold what you release. Let me handle what you cannot control. Let me be the one who balances what feels unjust. Your responsibility is not revenge. It is restoration. Forgiveness does not erase history. It transforms your relationship with it. And when you walk free from bitterness, you will feel the shift. Your shoulders will lighten. Your thoughts will quiet. Your heart will expand again. Choose freedom, my beloved child. Release what has bound you. Forgiveness is not surrendering your dignity. It is reclaiming your peace. My beloved child, there is something beautiful happening beneath the surface of your life, even if you cannot fully see it yet. I am writing your story. You have looked at certain chapters and labeled them as failures. You have underlined your mistakes and circled your regrets as if they were permanent stains on the page. You have assumed that because something went wrong, the entire narrative has been ruined. But I am not finished writing. A story is not defined by a single chapter. It is shaped by the arc, by the movement, by the transformation that unfolds over time. And what feels like a setback to you may actually be a turning point in disguise. You remember the decisions you wish you could undo, the relationships that did not last, the opportunities you missed, the moments you responded poorly. In your mind, those scenes replay with sharp clarity. You think, if only I had chosen differently, everything would look better now. My beloved child, regret is powerful, but it is not sovereign. It does not have the authority to dictate your future. I am the author of redemption. I specialize in weaving broken threads into stronger designs. I take what appears fragmented and create something whole. Consider a skilled writer revising a manuscript. Sometimes a chapter must be rewritten. Sometimes a character must grow through conflict. Sometimes tension must rise before resolution brings depth and meaning. The struggle does not ruin the story. It enriches it. Your life is not a mistake in progress. It is a masterpiece in development. The very experiences you wish had never happened are shaping compassion within you. The failures you are embarrassed by have humbled you in ways success never could. The delays you resented have refined your patience. The disappointments you endured have deepened your resilience. Nothing has been wasted. Even the detours serve a purpose. Even the pain carries lessons. Even the seasons of wandering taught you something about yourself that comfort never would. You may feel as though you have fallen behind, taken the wrong turn, or damaged your own future. But I see the full picture. I see where this road is leading. And I assure you, your story is not spiraling downward. It is unfolding upward. There are pages ahead that will surprise you. There will be moments when you look back and realize that what once felt like ruin was actually redirection. You will see how closed doors protected you from paths that would not have aligned with who you are becoming. you will recognize that certain endings were necessary to make space for better beginnings. My beloved child, I do not erase your past. I transform its meaning. The scars you carry will not define you as broken. They will testify that you survived. The mistakes you made will not disqualify you. They will make you wiser. The setbacks you experienced will not diminish your destiny. They will prepare you for it. Trust that I am intentional with every chapter. Even now, as you breathe and listen, I am aligning scenes you cannot yet imagine. Conversations that will shift your direction. Opportunities that will open unexpectedly. Encounters that will confirm you were never lost, only learning. Stop rereading old pages as if they are the conclusion. Lift your eyes to the chapters still unwritten. You are not the same person you were when those painful moments occurred. You have grown. You have matured. You have deepened. And that growth matters. I'm not writing a story of shame over you. I'm writing a story of restoration, of resilience, of renewed hope. What the world might label as failure, I call formation. What you call delay, I call design. What you call brokenness, I call the beginning of something stronger. My beloved child, let me hold the pen. Trust that I know how to weave every detail into something meaningful. Trust that no experience, no tear, no detour has disqualified you from a future filled with purpose. Your story is not over. In fact, some of the most beautiful chapters are still ahead, and I am writing them with love. My beloved child, as you begin to see your story through my eyes, there is something else I want you to recognize. There is strength within you that you did not even realize you possessed. You have often looked at yourself and seen only your doubts. You have focused on the moments when you felt afraid, uncertain, or overwhelmed. You have labeled yourself as fragile because you felt deeply. But what you call fragility, I call sensitivity shaped by courage. Strength is not always loud. It is not always bold or unshaken. Sometimes strength is quiet endurance. Sometimes it is getting out of bed when your heart feels heavy. Sometimes it is choosing kindness when bitterness would feel justified. Sometimes it is trying again after disappointment has already knocked you down. Look at what you have survived. There were days you thought you would not make it through. Nights when your thoughts were relentless. Seasons when you felt misunderstood, overlooked, or alone. And yet, you are still here. Still breathing. Still seeking growth. Still listening for my voice. That is strength. You did not collapse under the weight of your challenges. You bent, but you did not break. Even when you questioned yourself, you kept moving. Even when you felt weak, you continued forward. You have underestimated your resilience because you expected strength to feel effortless. But true strength is often forged in resistance. Think of metal shaped in fire. It does not emerge hardened without pressure. It does not become refined without heat. The very trials you wished away were building endurance inside you. Not to make you hard, but to make you steady. My beloved child, you have developed discernment through disappointment. You have gained wisdom through mistakes. You have cultivated compassion because you know what it feels like to hurt. These are not signs of weakness. They are marks of depth. There were moments when you thought you were barely holding on. But even barely holding on is still holding on. You are stronger now than you were before those difficult chapters. Not because the pain disappeared quickly, but because you learned how to stand in it without losing yourself completely. You learned to breathe through uncertainty. You learned to keep faith when answers were delayed. You may not see yourself as courageous, but courage is woven into your story. Courage was there when you forgave. Courage was there when you admitted you were wrong. Courage was there when you started over. Courage was there when you trusted me despite silence. And now, I want you to begin seeing yourself the way I see you. Not as fragile, not as behind, not as broken beyond repair, but as resilient, as growing, as capable of far more than you have allowed yourself to believe. You fear future challenges because you remember how much past ones hurt. But you forget that you survived them. You forget that you adapted. You forget that you learned. The same strength that carried you then will carry you again. You are not easily destroyed. Even when your confidence wavers, your spirit remains intact. Even when you feel uncertain, your core is grounded in something deeper than circumstance. That foundation is me. My strength has been at work in you all along. When you felt like giving up but did not, that was my strength supporting you. When you chose integrity over convenience, that was my strength guiding you. When you extended grace instead of retaliation, that was my strength flowing through you. You are not alone in your resilience. We are intertwined in it. My beloved child, stop dismissing your growth. Stop speaking of yourself as though you are always on the verge of collapse. You have endured too much to keep underestimating who you have become. The challenges ahead will not find you unprepared. They will find you wiser, steadier, and more rooted than before. There is strength in your gentleness. There is strength in your persistence. There is strength in your willingness to keep trusting. You did not know you had this kind of resilience in you. But I did. And I am not finished strengthening you yet. My beloved child, now that you are beginning to recognize the strength within you, I must gently show you something else. Strength does not mean you must fight every battle by yourself. You have developed a quiet habit of self-reliance. After being disappointed, after feeling misunderstood, after walking through seasons where help did not come the way you expected, you decided it was safer to depend mostly on yourself. You told your heart, I will handle it. I won't expect too much. I won't need too much. And in many ways, that mindset protected you. It made you resilient. It made you resourceful. It made you capable. But somewhere along the way, independence slowly turned into isolation. You stopped asking for help even when you needed it. You stopped sharing burdens because you did not want to feel like one. My beloved child, there is a difference between being strong and being alone. When you try to fight every internal battle by yourself, your thoughts become an echo chamber. Worries grow louder. Fears feel heavier. Problems appear larger than they truly are. You analyze. You strategize. You attempt to control every detail. And when things still feel uncertain, you blame yourself. But you were never meant to carry your mind, your future, your healing, and your responsibilities without partnership. Picture yourself in a small boat, rowing across a wide lake. The wind picks up. The water grows restless. You grip the oars tightly, determined to push forward through sheer effort. But you grow tired. Your arms ache. The shore feels distant. What you do not realize is that I am in the boat with you. You keep rowing as if you are alone, forgetting that I can steady the waters, forgetting that I can guide the direction, forgetting that you can rest while I take the lead. Stop fighting alone. There are battles that do not require your constant mental engagement. There are outcomes that do not depend solely on your effort. There are situations you cannot fix by overthinking. When you surrender control, you are not giving up. You are allowing me to step in. You have grown accustomed to solving problems quickly, to anticipating issues before they arise. But not every challenge is yours to manage. Some require trust more than strategy. My beloved child, I am not asking you to become passive. I am asking you to become partnered. When anxiety rises, instead of wrestling it in silence, bring it to me immediately. Speak it honestly. Do not polish your words. Do not pretend you are calmer than you are. Let me carry the weight of what you cannot resolve. When decisions feel overwhelming, pause with me before acting. When conversations feel intimidating, invite me into them. When uncertainty clouds your direction, ask for my guidance instead of forcing clarity through fear. You do not lose dignity by leaning on me. You find strength in it. Even in relationships, you do not have to be the unshakable one at all times. Allow yourself to be supported. Allow yourself to express need without shame. Vulnerability does not diminish your strength. It deepens your connections. The battle you have been fighting in your mind has exhausted you more than the circumstances themselves. And much of that exhaustion comes from believing that everything rests on your shoulders. It does not. You are responsible for faithfulness, not outcomes. You are responsible for effort, not absolute control. You are responsible for obedience, not perfection. Let me fight what you cannot see. There are spiritual battles you are unaware of, forces shifting beyond your sight. I am already at work there. You do not need to strain yourself over things beyond your reach. My beloved child, rest does not mean surrendering your dreams. It means trusting the one who gave them to you. Stop fighting alone. Invite me into your plans. Invite me into your worries. Invite me into your exhaustion. The weight will lighten. The direction will steady. The fear will soften. You were never meant to row this boat by yourself. I'm here. Let me take the oars when you grow weary. My beloved child, there is something you hold tightly, even now. Something you cherish. Something you fear losing. And because you fear losing it, you grip it even harder. It may be a relationship, a dream, a position, a sense of security, a version of your life that feels stable and familiar. You tell yourself that if you can just manage it carefully enough, protect it fiercely enough, anticipate every possible threat, you can prevent loss. But that constant guarding has made your heart anxious. You wake up thinking about it. You fall asleep calculating outcomes. You replay conversations, wondering if one wrong word could shift everything. You live in subtle tension, always bracing for the possibility that what you value might slip through your fingers. My beloved child, love and fear cannot guide your hands at the same time. When you hold something out of fear, your grip becomes tight and restless. When you hold something in trust, your hands are open and steady. I see how much this matters to you. I see how deeply attached you are. And attachment is not wrong. Desire is not wrong. Caring is not weakness. But when your peace depends entirely on keeping something exactly as it is, your heart becomes fragile. Trust me with what you fear losing. That does not mean you must detach emotionally or pretend you do not care. It means you release the illusion that you are the ultimate protector of it. You are not the source of its stability. I am. Think of a child clutching a delicate object, afraid it might break. The tighter the child squeezes, the greater the risk of damage. But when the child places it in a parent's hands, it is held more securely, not less. You have been squeezing tightly. You try to control outcomes through effort, through overthinking, through constant vigilance. You imagine worst-case scenarios and attempt to prepare for them emotionally before they even occur. But in doing so, you rob yourself of present joy. If something is meant to remain in your life, I will sustain it. If something must change, I will guide you through it. Either way, you are not left unprotected. You fear loss because you have experienced it before. You remember how much it hurt. And so you tell yourself, I cannot survive that again. But my beloved child, you did survive before. And you did not survive alone. The same grace that carried you through past losses would carry you again if necessary. But do not live in anticipation of disaster. Live in trust of my faithfulness. There are times when I ask you to loosen your grip, not because I want to take something away, but because I want to free your heart from anxiety. When your hands are open, you can receive more. When your heart is calm, you can enjoy what you have instead of constantly fearing its disappearance. Trust is not passive. It is active surrender. It is waking up and choosing to believe that I am good even when outcomes are uncertain. It is deciding that your security is rooted in me, not in circumstances. It is allowing yourself to love fully without demanding guarantees. You cannot control every variable. You cannot prevent every change. But you can anchor yourself in the one who does not change. My beloved child, whatever you fear losing, place it in my care. Speak its name in your prayers. Release it deliberately, even if you must do so daily. Say, I trust you with this. Feel the shift in your spirit when you do. You are not careless. You are not indifferent. You are simply choosing faith over fear. And know this, I am not reckless with what you treasure. I understand its value to you. I see the tears you would cry if it were gone. I feel the depth of your attachment. Trusting me does not mean losing everything you love. It means realizing that your ultimate security was never in those things to begin with. Open your hands, my beloved child. I am holding you, and I am holding what concerns you. You are safe in my care. My beloved child, you have lingered in seasons of waiting long enough. You have stood in corridors where doors once closed, and you have questioned whether another would ever open again. But listen to me carefully now. I am opening a door before you. This door is not loud. It is not surrounded by applause. It does not flash with certainty or remove every possible risk. Instead, it appears quietly, gently, almost subtly. And because it is subtle, you are tempted to overlook it. But I am the one who placed it there. You remember the doors that shut in your past. Some closed without warning. Some closed after you had already stepped inside. And when they did, you felt confused. You wondered if you had misunderstood me. You questioned your judgment. You asked yourself if you were unworthy of better outcomes. Those closed doors were not punishments. They were protection. There were paths you desired that would have drained you. There were rooms you thought you needed that would have limited your growth. There were spaces that looked promising but did not align with who you are becoming. And though the closing hurt, it prevented something heavier. And now, because of what you have learned, you are more prepared than before. The door I am opening now is connected to your maturity. It is aligned with the healing you have embraced. It is suited to the strength you have developed. It is not random opportunity. It is intentional direction. You may feel a stirring in your spirit, a quiet excitement mixed with hesitation. You are curious yet cautious. You wonder, what if this does not work? What if I fail again? What if I am not ready? My beloved child, readiness rarely feels complete. Growth always includes an element of stretching. If you wait until you feel entirely confident, you may wait forever. The hallway of hesitation feels safe because it is familiar. In the hallway you can observe without committing. You can analyze without risking. You can remain where nothing changes. But the hallway was never meant to be your home. It is only a passage, You were not created to stand still. The door before you may represent a new responsibility, a deeper relationship, a bold conversation, a creative pursuit, a spiritual step, or a personal transformation. It may require vulnerability. It may require courage. It may require you to leave behind an old version of yourself. But you are not stepping alone. I will not open a door and then abandon you inside it. I will not invite you forward without walking beside you. Every challenge within that new space will also carry my presence. Do not underestimate how far you have come. The lessons from disappointment have sharpened your discernment. The healing from old wounds has softened your reactions. The quiet seasons of waiting have strengthened your patience. You are not who you were when the last door closed. This one is different. Fear will try to convince you that staying where you are is safer. It will remind you of past pain. It will exaggerate potential failure. But fear is not your guide. I am. Step forward. Even if your step feels small. Even if your voice trembles. Even if you cannot see the entire room beyond the threshold. You do not need the full blueprint. You need trust. And if something inside you is awakening as you hear this, if you sense that this message is touching your moment of decision, then do not keep it to yourself. Bless this message with a like so it can reach others who are standing before their own open doors. Share it with someone who had been hesitating in the hallway. Hype this video so it rises and encourages hearts that need courage right now. Subscribe and remain close, because I am continuing to guide you step by step. My beloved child, this door is not a test designed to expose your weakness. It is an invitation designed to reveal your capacity. You are capable. You are prepared. You are supported. What waits beyond this threshold is not perfection, but progress. Not certainty, but growth. Not ease, but expansion. Trust me. The door is open. Take the step, and watch how your obedience turns into opportunity. My beloved child, the door I have opened before you is not only for your blessing, it is for the blessing of many. This is between you and me, yet through you, it will reach far beyond. When you give through super thanks, when you stand as a member, when you sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are stepping through another door, one of divine partnership. Your generosity is a key that unlocks encouragement for souls waiting in dark hallways. It is oil poured into lamps that refuse to go out. It is seed cast into fertile ground, and I have said that those who sow in faith will reap in joy. I am speaking that over your life now. You sense the nudge to act. That is my spirit prompting you. Do not linger in hesitation. I will bless the work of your hands, and I will cause what you give to return multiplied. Step forward, support this mission now, and walk boldly through the door I have opened. My beloved child, as you stand in front of the door I have opened, there is a quiet doubt that tries to whisper to you. It says, maybe this is for someone else. Maybe I am not the right one. Maybe I was overlooked. But hear me clearly now, you are still chosen. Not chosen because you are flawless. Not chosen because you have never stumbled. Not chosen because you are the loudest, the most confident, or the most accomplished. You are chosen because I have called you by name. There have been moments when you felt replaced. Times when someone else seemed more qualified, more noticed, more favored. You watched opportunities pass to others. You saw recognition land in different hands. And you wondered if perhaps you had missed your moment. My beloved child, what is meant for you cannot be taken by another. Comparison has distorted your view. It has convinced you that worth is measured by visibility, that being chosen means being applauded, that significance must be public to be real. But I do not operate by those standards. Some of my most powerful assignments are given in quiet places. There were seasons when I pulled you aside, not to exclude you, but to prepare you. While others were being displayed, you were being developed. While others were celebrated, you were being strengthened internally. And though it felt like obscurity, it was actually formation. You are not forgotten in the shadows. Even when you felt unseen by people, you were fully seen by me. Every act of integrity, every private prayer, every time you resisted bitterness, every time you chose growth over comfort, none of it was wasted. You question your qualifications because you remember your weaknesses. You think, if they truly knew me, they would not choose me. But I do know you completely, and I still choose you. I know your doubts. I know your past mistakes. I know the insecurities you try to hide, and none of them disqualify you from purpose. Being chosen does not mean you feel ready. It means I see something in you that is ready to be awakened. Think of a shepherd walking through a field of sheep. The shepherd knows each one, not just by appearance but by familiarity. The shepherd calls, and the sheep recognize the voice. They follow not because they understand every direction, but because they trust the color. You are known in that way. You are not one among many to me. You are specific, intentional, designed with care. Your personality, your experiences, your sensitivities, your strengths, all of it uniquely positions you for the path before you. There are rooms you will enter that require your particular compassion. There are conversations you will have that require your specific perspective. There are lives you will touch in ways no one else could. Stop doubting your selection. The enemy of your confidence is the belief that you must become someone else to be worthy. But I am not asking you to transform into a different person. I am calling you to step fully into who you already are becoming. You are not too late. You are not too flawed. You are not too ordinary. You are chosen for growth, chosen for impact, chosen for deeper trust, chosen to reflect my love in ways that feel natural to you. Even your struggles have prepared you to serve with empathy. Even your setbacks have equipped you with understanding. Even your waiting has sharpened your awareness. My beloved child, lift your head. Walk through the door knowing that you are not an afterthought. You are not an accident. You are not filling someone else's space. You are stepping into your own calling. And I do not make mistakes in who I choose. When doubt tries to follow you into the new season, reminded of this truth: you were called before you felt confident. You were chosen before you felt capable. And the one who chose you will also sustain you. You are still chosen, and that has never changed. My beloved child, as you step into new doors and embrace the truth that you are chosen, there is something else I must teach you. Rest is not weakness. You have lived for so long in a world that praises constant motion. Productivity is applauded. Busyness is admired. Exhaustion is worn like a badge of honor. And without realizing it, you began to measure your worth by how much you could accomplish in a single day. When you slow down, guilt creeps in. When you pause, your mind whispers that you are falling behind. When you take a break, you feel as though you must justify it. But I did not design you to run endlessly. Even the strongest hearts require restoration. Even the most determined spirits need stillness. Rest is not surrendering your purpose. It is protecting it. Think of a field that is planted season after season without pause. Eventually, the soil becomes depleted. The harvest weakens. The ground hardens. But when a field lies fallow for a time, something beautiful happens beneath the surface. Nutrients are restored. The soil regains its strength. Future growth becomes possible again. You are no different. When you ignore your need for rest, you begin to operate from depletion rather than abundance. Your patience thins. Your clarity fades. Your joy diminishes. And then you wonder why everything feels heavier than it should. My beloved child, rest is sacred. It is not laziness. It is wisdom. It is trusting that the world does not collapse when you close your eyes. It is believing that I am still working even when you are still. There are moments when you push yourself because you fear that slowing down will reveal unresolved emotions. You stay busy to avoid silence. You fill your schedule to avoid reflection. But constant noise cannot heal what quiet honesty can. In rest, you hear my voice more clearly. In rest, you notice the tension in your shoulders and allow it to soften. In rest, you reconnect with gratitude. In rest, you remember that your identity is not tied to output. You are not valuable because of what you produce. You are valuable because you are mine. There is a rhythm I created for you, a rhythm of work and restoration, effort and renewal, action and reflection. When you ignore that rhythm, imbalance follows. But when you honor it, peace increases. You fear that if you rest, you will lose momentum. But true momentum comes from sustainable strength, not frantic striving. You cannot pour endlessly without being refilled. Let me refill you. Set down the need to prove yourself through exhaustion. Release the belief that you must always be available, always be achieving, always be advancing. Resting does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means stepping back long enough to regain perspective. When you rest, creativity returns. Patience deepens. Discernment sharpens. You begin to see solutions that were hidden by stress. You respond rather than react. You move with intention instead of urgency. My beloved child, even I modeled rest in the rhythm of creation. Not because I was weary, but to demonstrate balance. If rest is woven into the design of the universe, why do you treat it as optional? Your body speaks to you through fatigue. Your mind signals through overwhelm. Your spirit signals through dryness. These are not signs of weakness. They are invitations. Come away with me in quiet moments. Turn off the noise. Step outside. Breathe deeply. Allow yourself to exist without striving. Rest is not a reward you earn after burnout. It is a discipline that prevents it. You will accomplish more in the long run by honoring the limits I placed within you than by constantly pushing beyond them. My beloved child, you do not need to carry the weight of constant motion. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to rest in my presence and know that I am still God, still faithful, still working on your behalf. Rest is not weakness. It is trust. My beloved child, there are places in your heart that still ache when you think about what was taken from you. There are memories that carry the quiet question, why did this have to happen? There are seasons you look back on and feel as though something precious was stolen. Time was stolen. Peace was stolen. Confidence was stolen. Trust was stolen. Perhaps even innocence was stolen. You invested deeply, loved sincerely, hoped boldly, and somewhere along the way, you felt as though life withdrew more than it gave. Hear me clearly now. I am restoring what was stolen. Not in a careless way, not in a rushed way, but in a deliberate, faithful way that reaches deeper than the original loss. You may look at the years that feel wasted, the opportunities that slip away, the relationships that ended abruptly, the energy you poured into something that did not flourish. You may think those seasons are gone forever, beyond redemption, but nothing surrendered to me is ever truly wasted. Even in the seasons where you felt drained, something was forming within you. Discernment was growing. Boundaries were developing. Compassion was deepening. Wisdom was taking root. Though the outward results disappointed you, inwardly you were being strengthened. Restoration does not always mean returning you to the exact place where you once stood. It means elevating you beyond it. If I simply restored you to your old innocence without the wisdom you now carry, you would be vulnerable again in the same ways. If I restored you to your old confidence without the humility you have learned, you would not be balanced. My restoration is not a rewind. It is a renewal. Think of a house damaged by fire. The flames leave marks. Certain rooms must be rebuilt entirely. When restoration begins, the structure is reinforced. Weak beams are replaced with stronger ones. Outdated wiring is renewed. The home is not only repaired, it is improved. You are being rebuilt with greater strength. The joy that was stolen will return with deeper gratitude. The peace that was disrupted will return with firmer boundaries. The trust that was broken will return with discernment. The confidence that was shaken will return rooted not in approval, but in identity. My beloved child, you have focused so long on what was lost that you have not yet fully seen what is being formed. There are new relationships ahead that will not require you to shrink yourself. There are opportunities ahead that will not drain you in the same way. There are spaces prepared for you that will honor your growth instead of exploiting your kindness. What was taken hurt you, yes, but it did not disqualify you. It did not diminish your future. It did not remove my hand from your life. I saw every injustice. I saw every unfair exchange. I saw when you gave more than you received. I saw when you were misunderstood. And I was not passive. Even when you felt abandoned, I was preserving pieces of you that could have been destroyed completely. I was limiting the damage. I was guarding your spirit. I was preparing a restoration that would not merely patch the surface, but transform the foundation. Restoration unfolds in stages. At first, it feels like small breaths of hope, a moment of laughter that surprises you, a calm reaction where anger once ruled, a new opportunity that aligns more clearly than the last. You may dismiss these as coincidence, but they are evidence. I am rebuilding. You will not remain defined by what was stolen. You will not forever live in reaction to loss. You will not always flinch at reminders of the past. There will come a day when you look back and see not only what was taken, but what was given in return. A deeper strength, a clearer identity, a more grounded faith. My beloved child, lift your eyes from the ruins and see the construction already underway. You are not standing in a wasteland. You are standing on a foundation being restored. What the enemy meant to diminish you will be used to develop you. What circumstances attempted to drain you will ultimately refine you. I am not finished. I am restoring what was stolen, and I am doing it in a way that secures you more firmly than before. Trust the process. Redemption is not a distant promise. It is already happening. My beloved child, as I restore what was stolen and lead you into new seasons, we must speak about the people around you. Because not everyone who walks beside you is meant to walk with you forever. You have felt confusion in certain relationships. You have sensed shifts you could not explain. Some connections that once felt natural now feel strained. Some conversations leave you drained instead of strengthened. And you wonder whether you are imagining it, whether you are being too sensitive, whether you are expecting too much. You are not imagining everything. People enter your life for different reasons and different seasons. Some come to teach you. Some come to walk with you long term. Some come to reveal parts of yourself you did not yet see. And some come only for a chapter, not the whole story. Let me give you discernment, not suspicion, not paranoia. Discernment. Discernment allows you to recognize who nourishes your growth and who quietly hinders it. It helps you notice who celebrates your progress and who resents it. It shows you who respects your boundaries and who consistently pushes against them. You have often overextended yourself to maintain peace. You have ignored your own discomfort to avoid confrontation. You have tolerated patterns that drained you because you did not want to appear unkind. But kindness does not require self-betrayal. You can love someone and still establish boundaries. You can forgive someone and still limit access. You can care deeply and still choose distance when necessary. My beloved child, not everyone is meant to understand the direction I am leading you. When you grow, some people will feel unfamiliar to you. When you change, some relationships will shift. That is not always failure. Sometimes it is alignment. There are people I am positioning around you who will sharpen you, not diminish you. Who will speak truth gently, not manipulate you through guilt. Who will support your calling, not compete with it. These connections will feel different. They will feel mutual. But in order to welcome the right relationships, you must sometimes release the ones that no longer fit your growth. This does not require hostility. It requires honesty. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you feel encouraged or exhausted? Do you feel seen or overlooked? Do you feel inspired to become better or pressured to stay the same? You have ignored these signals before. You told yourself you were being dramatic. But your spirit often recognizes what your mind tries to rationalize. Trust that inner awareness. There are also people who love you but cannot follow you into your next season. Their limitations are not evil. They are simply real. And you must not shrink your growth to maintain their comfort. My beloved child, you are not responsible for managing everyone's emotions about your transformation. You are responsible for walking faithfully in the direction I guide you. Healthy relationships will adjust as you grow. They will communicate. They will celebrate your progress. They will honor your boundaries. Unhealthy patterns will resist change and attempt to pull you backward. You do not need to sever every imperfect connection. But you do need clarity. Ask me for wisdom in conversations. Ask me for courage when boundaries feel uncomfortable. Ask me for compassion so that your firmness does not become harshness. I am not isolating you. I am refining your circle. There are people ahead who will recognize the light within you and encourage it. There are friendships ahead built on mutual respect rather than obligation. There are partnerships ahead that will feel balanced rather than burdensome. Release the fear of disappointing others when you choose growth. Release the guilt of saying no when your peace requires it. You are allowed to evolve. My beloved child, as you step into new doors and restored strength, the company you keep matters. Surround yourself with those who reflect my love, who challenge you gently, who stand beside you without competing for position. And when certain people drift away, do not chase what I am gently removing. Trust the pruning. I am aligning you with those who will walk faithfully beside you in this next chapter. You are not alone. You are being positioned. My beloved child, after we have spoken about the people around you and the alignment of your relationships, I must remind you of something essential. Your purpose is not small. You have minimized your calling in quiet ways. You have looked at your life and thought, It's ordinary. It's simple. It doesn't look significant. You have compared your path to those who stand on larger platforms or carry louder titles, and you have quietly reduced your own impact. But I did not design you for insignificance. Purpose is not measured by visibility. It is measured by obedience. It is measured by the depth of love you carry into what you do. It is measured by faithfulness in places that may never receive applause. You believe purpose must look dramatic. You imagine it requires crowns, recognition, or extraordinary talent. But sometimes purpose looks like raising a family with patience. Sometimes it looks like integrity in a workplace that tempts compromise. Sometimes it looks like kindness in a conversation where bitterness would be easier. Small acts done with faith ripple further than you can see. Picture a stone dropped into still water. The initial splash may seem minor, but the ripples travel outward, touching places far beyond the point of impact. In the same way, your daily choices create unseen influence. When you encourage someone who feels unseen, you shift their day. When you extend grace instead of judgment, you soften a hardened heart. When you choose honesty in a moment of temptation, you uphold truth in a space that needed it. Do not underestimate those ripples. You may never fully know how your words strengthen someone who was about to give up. You may never see how your consistency inspired someone quietly observing you. You may never hear about the seeds you planted in another's life. But I see them. Purpose is not always glamorous. It is often steady. You have mistaken quiet impact for lack of impact. You have assumed that because your name is not widely known, your contribution must be small. But I do not measure greatness by public attention. I measure it by alignment. Are you walking in love? Are you growing in integrity? Are you choosing courage over comfort? These are the foundations of purpose. My beloved child, there are unique gifts within you that no one else carries in the same way. Your voice has a tone that resonates with certain hearts. Your experiences have equipped you to understand struggles others cannot fully grasp. Your personality carries warmth, insight, humor, or steadiness that fills spaces uniquely. If you shrink yourself, the world loses something it was meant to receive. There are conversations ahead that require your honesty. There are roles ahead that require your diligence. There are opportunities ahead that require your creativity. And though they may not look extraordinary at first glance, they are sacred in my eyes. Do not despise humble beginnings. Every great structure begins with a foundation hidden beneath the surface. Every strong tree begins as a seed unseen in the soil. What appears small now may grow into influence you never anticipated. You are not called to imitate someone else's assignment. You are called to fulfill yours. When you chase someone else's purpose, you feel drained. When you embrace your own, you feel aligned. Stop measuring your impact by comparison. Stop dismissing your gifts because they differ from another's. Stop assuming that quiet obedience is less valuable than public recognition. My beloved child, I form you intentionally. I place desires in your heart deliberately. I shape your strengths for specific spaces. Your purpose is not small because you are not small in my sight. Even if your sphere feels limited, your influence within it matters deeply. Even if your role feels ordinary, your faithfulness within it is extraordinary. Lift your perspective. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are positioned intentionally. And as you continue walking with me, you will begin to see how even the simplest acts of love carry eternal significance. Your purpose is not small. It is sacred. And it is unfolding, step by faithful step. My beloved child, there is a quiet fear that rises whenever you consider starting over. is the fear of beginning again. You have already invested time. You have already poured energy into certain paths. You have already tried. And the thought of returning to the beginning feels exhausting. It feels humbling. It feels wishy. You tell yourself, I should be further by now. I shouldn't have to restart. I shouldn't have to rebuild. And because of that belief, you hesitate. But beginning again is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of faith. Every sunrise is a beginning again. The night does not apologize for ending. The sun does not hesitate because yesterday and clouds. It rises faithfully, offering light once more. You are allowed to rise again. There are areas of your life where you feel you must pretend everything is steady, even if it is not. You worry about what others will think if you pivot, if you change direction, if you admit something is not working. Pride whispers that you must maintain appearances. Fear whispers that you will be judged. But my beloved child, I am not calling you to preserve appearances. I am calling you to pursue alignment. If something no longer fits who you are becoming, you are allowed to release it. If a path is draining your spirit rather than stretching your faith, you are allowed to reconsider. If a dream needs reshaping, you are allowed to reshape it. Starting again does not erase your progress. It carries your lessons forward. You are not returning to the same starting line as before. You are beginning again with wisdom you did not previously have. You are beginning again with discernment that has been sharpened. You are beginning again with deeper trust in me. The first time you tried, you may have been driven by excitement alone. Now you are guided by experience. Do not despise the humility of fresh starts. Humility keeps your heart open. It keeps you teachable. It keeps you grounded in dependence on me rather than confidence in your own plans alone. You fear that beginning again will expose you. But vulnerability is not your enemy. It is the soil where growth takes root. Imagine a builder who realizes a foundation was flawed. Continuing to build on it would only cause greater collapse. So the builder chooses to start again, to rebuild with stronger materials. That decision may delay completion, but it ensures stability. You are not behind because you begin again. You are wise. My beloved child, some of the most beautiful chapters in your story will start with the words, I tried again. You tried loving again after heartbreak. You tried trusting again after betrayal. You tried believing again after disappointment. You tried dreaming again after loss. That is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else is more important than fear. When you begin again with me, you are not stepping into emptiness. You are stepping into opportunity shaped by experience. You are stepping into growth that is deeper and more sustainable. Let go of the shame that whispers, you should have known better. You learned. And learning often requires attempts. Let go of the pressure to impress others with consistency. True maturity sometimes looks like course correction. Let go of the belief that restarting means regression. It means refinement. My beloved child, I delight in new beginnings. I am the God of renewal. I breathe life into dry places. I bring beauty from ashes. I restore hope where discouragement once settled. Do not fear the blank page. See it as invitation. You are not the same person who began the last time. You are stronger, wiser, more aware, more anchored in truth. Take the step. Begin again where needed. And know that this time, you are not beginning alone. I'm riding with you. And this new chapter will reflect the courage it took to start once more. My beloved child, I need you to quiet your heart for a moment. Set aside the noise. Set aside the rushing thoughts. Set aside the worries about what comes next. Listen closely now. There are seasons when I speak gently, and there are moments when I lean in closer so that my words settle deeply within you. This is one of those moments. You have walked through reflection. You have faced fear. You have acknowledged wounds. You have embraced growth. You have stood before new doors. But now I want you to anchor everything in one simple truth. I am with you. Not occasionally. Not conditionally. Not only when you feel strong or spiritual or steady. I am with you when your thoughts are scattered. I am with you when your confidence shakes. I am with you when you question yourself in the quiet of the night. Listen closely. The future you fear is not approaching you without my presence. The decisions ahead of you are not beyond my guidance. The challenges that may arise are not stronger than my provision. You often imagine worst-case scenarios as though you will face them alone. But you never will. When anxiety tries to tighten your chest, remember my nearness. When doubt tries to cloud your clarity, remember my faithfulness. When old insecurities attempt to resurface, remember the growth you have already experienced. You are not who you were a year ago. You are not as fragile as you once felt. You are not as uncertain as you once believed. I have been strengthening you quietly, steadily, faithfully. Listen closely. There is a peace available to you that does not depend on circumstances. It flows from trust. It flows from knowing that even if plans shift, I remain constant. Even if people change, I remain steady. Even if the road curves unexpectedly, I remain your guide. You do not need to have every answer today. You do not need to control every outcome tomorrow. You only need to remain connected to me. Breathe deeply. Let your shoulders lower. Let your thoughts sow. Let your heart rest in the assurance that you are held. You have carried so much responsibility in your mind. You have tried to predict every possibility. You have rehearsed conversations that have not yet happened. You have prepared for battles that may never come. But in this moment, release the mental striving. I am not asking you to ignore wisdom or preparation. I am asking you to stop carrying the weight of omniscience. That is not your role. Your role is trust. Trust that I see what you cannot. Trust that I am working in spaces beyond your awareness. Trust that delays are not denials. Trust that setbacks are not the end of your story. If these words are settling your spirit, if you feel even a small shift toward peace, do not keep this moment to yourself. Bless this message with a like so that others searching for reassurance can find it. Share it with someone whose heart is heavy. Hype this video so it rises and reaches those who feel alone in their uncertainty. Subscribe and stay close, because I am continuing to speak clarity over you. My beloved child, listen closely one more time. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not behind schedule. You are not disqualified. You are loved. That love is not fragile. It does not fade with your mood. It does not disappear with your mistakes. It does not weaken when you grow tired. It surrounds you. It steadies you. It sustains you. When the noise of life grows loud again, return to this moment. Return to this truth. Close your eyes if you must, and remember my voice. I am with you in the hallway. I am with you at the door. I am with you in the new room. I am with you in the rebuilding. I am with you in the waiting. Listen closely. I have never left, and I never will. My beloved child, as you rest in the truth that I am with you, know this: my presence in your life is meant to radiate outward. This is between you and me. but it is also a lifeline for someone gasping for hope. When you give through Super Thanks, join as a member, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you become a steward of my peace moving across the earth. Your offering becomes a steady flame in a storm. It becomes a river flowing into dry places. It becomes bread upon the waters, returning to you in ways you cannot yet see. Have I not promised that I will supply all your needs according to my riches and glory? I declare that provision over you now. This is not obligation, it is invitation. What you release in faith I will guard, multiply, and breathe upon. Do not delay. Support this work now, and let my peace expand through your obedience. My beloved child, there is a weight you have been carrying that I need to lift from you now. It is the quiet belief that I am disappointed in you. You may not say it aloud. You may not even consciously think it every day. But it lingers beneath your prayers. It hides in the way you hesitate to come to me when you have failed. It whispers when you fall short of your own expectations. You imagine me watching you with crossed arms, measuring your effort, noting your mistakes. You assume that when you struggle, I grow weary. When you doubt, I withdraw. When you stumble, I shake my head in frustration. But my beloved child, that image is not true. I am not disappointed in you. I see your effort even when results are imperfect. I see your desire to grow even when habits take time to change. I see the battles you fight internally that no one else notices. And I do not respond with condemnation. I respond with compassion. You hold yourself to standards that are often harsher than anything I have required. You replay your mistakes repeatedly. You speak to yourself in tones you would never use toward someone you love. You assume that because you are aware of your flaws, I must be focused on them too. But I am focused on your heart. I see when you try again after failing. I see when you apologize sincerely. I see when you wrestle with doubt but choose faith anyway. Those moments matter more than your stumbles. Growth is not a straight line. It is a process of learning, adjusting, refining. There will be missteps. There will be days when you fall back into old patterns. There will be moments when you question your progress. That does not disqualify you. Imagine a parent teaching a child to ride a bicycle. When the child wobbles and falls, the parent does not respond with disappointment. The parent lifts the child, steadies the bike, and encourages another attempt. The fall is part of the learning. Your missteps are not surprises to me. I know your humanity. I formed you with awareness of your limitations. I do not expect perfection from you. I invite relationship with you. You fear that you have wasted opportunities, that you should be further along spiritually, emotionally, or professionally. You compare your growth to an ideal version of yourself and feel inadequate. But I measure progress differently. I look at where you started. I look at how far you have come. I look at the resilience you have developed, the humility you have gained, the compassion you now carry, and I see transformation. You may not be finished, but you are not stagnant. My beloved child, when you sin, when you fail, when you react poorly, come to me. Do not hide. Do not delay. I am not waiting to punish you. I am waiting to restore you. Shame tries to push you away from me, but shame is not my voice. Conviction may guide you to correction, but condemnation is not my language. You are still my child on your best days and on your worst. I am not tallying your mistakes against your successes. I am walking with you through every lesson. Release the fear that you must impress me. Release the belief that my love fluctuates with your performance. Release the assumption that you have exhausted my patience. My patience is steady. My love is consistent. My grace is sufficient. You are allowed to be in process. You are allowed to grow slowly. You are allowed to ask for help again and again. My beloved child, I am not disappointed in you. I am invested in you. I am committed to shaping you gently, faithfully, patiently. Lift your head. Come closer without fear. You are not standing before a disappointed judge. You are standing before a loving Father. And my love for you is not diminished. It has only remained constant. My beloved child, I want you to slow down and truly hear this. You are becoming. Not stuck. Not circling the same place forever. Not failing repeatedly without progress. You are becoming someone deeper, steadier, more refined than you were before. And the process may feel subtle to you, but it is undeniable to me. Growth rarely announces itself with celebration. It happens quietly. It happens in the way you pause before reacting, in the way you choose your words more carefully, in the way you recover more quickly from disappointment, in the way you seek peace instead of drama. These small shifts are evidence. You are not who you used to be. There was a time when certain things would have shattered you completely. There was a time when criticism would have lingered in your mind for days. There was a time when rejection would have convinced you that you were unworthy. But now, though those moments still affect you, they do not define you. That is becoming. Becoming often feels like discomfort. You may feel stretched beyond your old identity. You may feel tension between who you were and who you are growing into. It can feel unfamiliar, even lonely at times. But transformation always requires transition. Think of a caterpillar entering the cocoon. On the outside, it looks like confinement. It looks like stillness. But inside, an extraordinary change is taking place. The creature does not emerge the same as it entered. You are in your own season of transformation. There are patterns that once felt normal that no longer sit comfortably with you. There are conversations you once entertained that now feel draining. There are behaviors you once excused that you now recognize as misaligned. This awareness is not judgment. It is growth. I am refining your perspective. Refinement can feel like pressure. Situations arise that test your patience. People challenge your boundaries. Opportunities stretch your confidence. In those moments, you may feel overwhelmed. But each challenge is revealing strength that has already been forming within you. Gold is purified through fire, not because it is worthless, but because it is valuable. The heat does not exist to destroy it. It exists to remove impurities. In the same way, the pressures you face are shaping you. They are teaching you resilience. They are teaching you discernment. They are teaching you how to stand firm without becoming harsh. My beloved child, you may miss the simplicity of who you once were. You may long for the days before certain responsibilities or heartbreaks entered your life. But remember this. Innocence without wisdom is fragile. Now you carry both tenderness and understanding. You are becoming balanced. You are learning to speak truth without cruelty. You are learning to forgive without abandoning boundaries. You are learning to trust without ignoring discernment. These layers of maturity take time, and I am patient with your pace. There will be days when you feel like you have regressed. Days when old habits resurface. Days when you respond in ways that disappoint you. Do not mistake temporary missteps for permanent stagnation. Growth is not linear. When you stumble, you do not return to the beginning. You rise with more awareness. You apologize more quickly. You reflect more honestly. Even your recovery has matured. You are becoming someone who listens before reacting, someone who seeks peace before conflict, someone who values depth over appearance, someone who rests in identity rather than chasing validation. And this transformation is not accidental. I am shaping your character intentionally. I am pruning what no longer serves your growth. I am strengthening what aligns with your purpose. I am guiding you toward wholeness, not perfection. Becoming also requires surrender. You cannot cling tightly to who you were and fully embrace who you are becoming. The relationships may shift. Some dreams may evolve. Some routines may need adjustment. You not fear this evolution. You are not losing yourself. You are discovering your truest self. My beloved child, the discomfort you feel at times is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is changing. And change, though unsettling, is often the doorway to deeper stability. You are becoming more grounded, more compassionate, more confident, more anchored in truth. And though you may not see the full picture yet, I do. I see the strength forming in you. I see the wisdom settling into your spirit. I see the courage rising quietly in your heart. You are becoming, and I am faithfully shaping every part of the process. My beloved child, there are moments when life feels like a battlefield, not always with visible enemies, but with internal wars. Wars in your thoughts, wars in your emotions, wars between fear and faith, doubt and trust, exhaustion and perseverance. You wake up some days already tired, not because your body lacks sleep, but because your mind hath been fighting all night. You wrestle with decisions. You replay conversations. You anticipate problems that have not yet arrived. And it feels as though you are constantly bracing for impact. But hear me clearly now, the battle is not yours alone. You have taken on burdens as though you are the sole defender of your future. You have tried to outthink every threat, outwork every obstacle, outmaneuver every possible disappointment. And when things still feel uncertain, you blame yourself for not trying harder. My beloved child, you are not required to be your own savior. There are battles you can see, financial pressures, relationship tensions, career uncertainties. But there are also battles you cannot see, spiritual forces, unseen alignments, quiet protections that happen beyond your awareness. While you worry, I am working. While you analyze, I am arranging. While you fear, I am fortifying. You imagine that everything depends on your vigilance, but I am guarding you in ways you do not recognize. I am closing doors you never even knew were dangerous. I am redirecting conversations that could have harmed you. I am softening hearts behind the scenes. You are not fighting alone in the visible realm, and you are certainly not fighting alone in the unseen one. Think of a child who believes they must defend their home from every storm. The child stands at the window, anxious, watching the wind shake the trees. But the foundation of the house was built by someone stronger. The walls were reinforced. The structure was designed to withstand pressure. You are not the foundation. I am. When challenges come, your role is not to control every gust of wind. Your role is to remain anchored in me. There are situations in your life right now that feel overwhelming. You are unsure how they will resolve. You feel tension in your chest when you think about them. You may even feel anger or frustration that things are not moving faster. But my beloved child, some victories require patience rather than panic. When you rush into battle without listening for my guidance, you exhaust yourself unnecessarily. When you argue every point, defend every criticism, and respond to every offense, you drain your peace. Not every fight deserves your energy. Discernment is knowing when to act and when to remain still. Wisdom is knowing when silence is strength. Faith is knowing that I can handle what you cannot. You have grown accustomed to carrying invisible armor, always ready for the next conflict. But armor is heavy when worn constantly. It was meant for specific moments, not for permanent tension. Lay it down. Let me fight what you cannot see. There are spiritual battles over your confidence, over your peace, over your purpose. Lies try to invade your thoughts. Fear tries to exaggerate your challenges. Doubt tries to weaken your resolve. But I am greater than all of it. You do not overcome by sheer willpower alone. You overcome by standing in truth, by remembering who you are, by trusting that I am actively defending your future. When you feel surrounded by uncertainty, you not immediately assume defeat. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs happen when you feel most pressed. My beloved child, victory does not always look like instant resolution. Sometimes it looks like sustained peace in the middle of chaos. Sometimes it looks like refusing to let fear dominate your thoughts. Sometimes it looks like choosing faith when nothing outwardly has changed yet. That too is triumph. You are not weak because you feel the intensity of the battle. You are human, but you are also supported. Lean into me when the pressure rises. Speak my promises over your situation. Refuse to let anxiety dictate your posture. The battle is not yours alone, and the outcome is not resting solely in your hands. I am your defender. I am your shield, and I am already working on your behalf. My beloved child, when the pressure builds and your thoughts grow heavy, I ask you to do something that may seem simple, yet it carries great power. Lift your eyes. You have spent so much time looking down, studying the obstacles at your feet, analyzing the cracks in your path, measuring how far you still have to go. Your focus has been fixed on what feels difficult, uncertain, or incomplete. And when your gaze remains lowered for too long, your spirit begins to feel lowered as well. But lift your eyes. When you look down constantly, you see only limitations. You see the bills that need paying, the conversations that intimidate you, the goals not yet reached, the flaws you are still working through, the mistakes you wish you could undo. Your field of vision becomes narrow, and your hope shrinks with it. Yet when you lift your eyes, your perspective widens. You begin to see the horizon instead of just the stone in your path. You begin to notice how far you have already traveled instead of only how far remains. You begin to see that the sky above you is not closing in but stretching endlessly. Perspective changes your endurance. Imagine walking through a valley surrounded by tall mountains. If you keep your eyes fixed on the steep walls around you, it feels as though you are trapped. But if you lift your gaze, you notice the open sky above. You realize the valley is not a prison. It is a passage. You are not trapped in your current season. You are passing through it. But when your thoughts circle the same worries again and again, you magnify them. You give them center stage. You replay worst-case scenarios. You rehearse fears that have not yet materialized. And slowly, what was once manageable begins to feel overwhelming. Lift your eyes. Look beyond the immediate moment. There were other seasons in your life that once felt unbearable. Times when you believed the pain would never ease. Times when uncertainty felt suffocating. And yet, you moved through them. You are here now because you endured then. That is evidence. You forget how resilient you have been. You forget how many prayers have already been answered. You forget how many dangers were quietly diverted. When you look only at what is lacking, gratitude fades. When you look only at what is wrong, peace thins. But when you lift your eyes toward me, something shifts inside you. You remember that I am larger than your circumstances. You remember that delays are not denials. You remember that your story did not begin with this struggle, and it will not end with it. Hope is not always emotional. Sometimes it is intentional. It is choosing to focus on truth rather than fear. It is choosing to believe that what you cannot see is still being arranged for your good. It is choosing to trust my character even when outcomes remain unclear. My beloved child, there is more ahead of you than what you currently see. There are moments of joy that will surprise you. There are relationships that will strengthen you. There are opportunities that will affirm you. There are answers forming in silence right now. But if you remain fixed only on today's difficulty, you may miss tomorrow's promise. Lift your eyes and notice what is still intact. Your breath, your strength, your capacity to grow, your ability to love, your resilience after hardship, your courage to begin again. These are not small things. You are not powerless in this season. Even now, I am aligning details beyond your awareness. I am strengthening you in ways you do not fully recognize. I am preparing you for terrain that requires greater stability. Do not let temporary terrain define your permanent identity. You are not a prisoner of this valley. You are a traveler moving through it. Lift your eyes above the noise of comparison. Lift your eyes above the echo of past mistakes. Lift your eyes above the fear of what might go wrong. See the horizon of possibility. See the sky of promise. See the steady presence of the one who walks beside you. My beloved child, when your gaze rises, your faith rises with it. And when your faith rises, your steps grow steadier. Lift your eyes and walk forward with renewed vision, knowing that I am guiding you beyond what you currently see. My beloved child, after everything we have walked through together, the healing, the releasing, the rebuilding, the courage to begin again, there is one invitation that will sustain you through every future season. Stay close to me, not close out of fear that I will withdraw, not close because you are trying to earn my approval, not close because you feel pressured by obligation. Stay close because relationship is the source of your strength. When you drift into self-reliance alone, you begin to feel the strain. Your thoughts grow louder. Your worries multiply. Your peace becomes fragile. You start carrying responsibilities that were never meant to rest entirely on your shoulders. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin striving again instead of trusting. Closeness restores balance. When you stay near me, your heart remains aligned. Your reactions soften. Your perspective widens. You are reminded that you are guided, not abandoned. That you are supported, not alone. Staying close is not about perfection. It is not about flawless routines or endless spiritual performance. It is about awareness. It is about inviting me into your daily rhythm, speaking to me in your car, whispering to me before a difficult conversation, thanking me in moments of quiet gratitude, turning your thoughts toward me when anxiety begins to rise. I am not asking for ceremony. I am inviting intimacy. Talk to me honestly. Do not filter your emotions. If you are confused, say so. If you are frustrated, admit it. If you are grateful, express it. I am not fragile in the face of your humanity. I am present within it. When you remain close, my guidance becomes clearer. A subtle pause before you speak. A gentle conviction when something feels misaligned. A sudden peace about a decision you have been wrestling with. These are not accidents. They are signs of connection. Distance dulls discernment. Closeness sharpens it. My beloved child, the world around you is loud. Opinions are constant. Expectations are heavy. You are pulled in many directions, by ambition, by comparison, by fear of missing out, by pressure to prove yourself. If you do not anchor yourself in me, you will feel scattered. But when you stay close, you remain grounded. You remember that your identity is not shaped by applause or criticism. You remember that your worth is not tied to productivity. You remember that your future is not determined by a single outcome. Closeness also protects your heart from growing hard. Disappointment can make you guarded. Rejection can make you defensive. Repeated stress can make you impatient. But in my presence, your heart softens without becoming weak. You can be strong and tender at the same time. You can hold boundaries and still love deeply. You can pursue purpose and still rest. This balance flows from relationship, not from effort alone. My beloved child, I do not measure closeness by how long you pray or how eloquently you speak. I measure it by openness, by your willingness to turn toward me instead of away from me, by your decision to return even after distraction. There will be days when you feel spiritually strong. Stay close then, so gratitude remains steady and pride does not creep in. There will be days when you feel weary and distant. Stay close then, especially so discouragement does not isolate you. When you succeed, bring your celebration to me. When you fail, bring your humility to me. When you are uncertain, bring your questions. When you are confident, bring your plans. I am not standing at a distance, waiting for you to climb higher. I am already near. But closeness grows through attentiveness. Create small moments of stillness. Even if your mind wanders, return it gently. Even if you feel distracted, try again. Relationship deepens through consistency, not intensity. You do not have to do life alone. You do not have to solve every problem before coming to me. You do not have to clean yourself up before seeking my presence. Stay close, my beloved child. In closeness, you will find clarity when confusion rises. In closeness, you will find strength when weakness surfaces. In closeness, you will find peace that outlasts circumstances. Walk with me in the ordinary hours. Invite me into the mundane routines. Remember me in both silence and celebration. Stay close, and you will never walk without guidance. My beloved child, as we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to understand something deeply and without doubt. This was always personal. From the very beginning, when I called you closer and said, "This is between you and me," I meant it. Not as a dramatic statement, not as a passing comfort, but as truth. I have been speaking directly to your heart. Every fear we uncovered, every wound we touched, every lie we dismantled, every door we approached, none of it was random. I was not speaking to a crowd. I was speaking to you. You. The one who wondered if anyone truly saw what you were carrying. The one who questioned whether you were behind. The one who feared losing what mattered most. The one who doubted if you were still chosen. This was never a general message. It was a personal reminder. I have seen your private battles. I have counted your silent tears. I have watched you try again when it would have been easier to give up. I have observed your growth in moments no one applauded. And I am proud of you. Not proud in a distant way. Not proud because you performed perfectly. Proud because you kept showing up. Proud because you kept seeking truth. Proud because you kept your heart open even when it hurt. You have walked through healing. You have released burdens. You have faced fears. You have embraced becoming. You have chosen forgiveness. You have allowed restoration to begin. And you are not the same person you were at the start of this conversation. Something inside you has shifted. Perhaps gently, perhaps quietly, but it has shifted. You now know that you are not alone in your battles. You know that you are not forgotten in your waiting. You know that your purpose is not small. You know that rest is not weakness. You know that you are not a disappointment. And above all, you know that you are loved. This is the truth that anchors everything. When fear rises again, remember this conversation. When doubt tries to return, remember these words. When you feel tempted to carry everything alone, remember that I am near. Stay close to me. Trust my timing. Lift your eyes when the valley feels long. Begin again when necessary. Release what no longer serves your growth. Step through the doors I open. Rest when you are weary. Forgive when bitterness tempts you. And never forget that you are chosen. My beloved child, the future before you is not empty. It is filled with moments of grace you have not yet experienced. It is filled with lessons that will strengthen you. It is filled with joy that will surprise you. I will walk with you into every new chapter. I will steady you when your confidence shakes. I will remind you of who you are when the world tries to redefine you. I will defend you in battles you cannot see. I will restore what feels lost. I will continue shaping you into who you were always meant to be. This conversation does not end because my presence does not end. Carry these truths in your heart. Return to them when you feel uncertain. Let them steady your steps. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are mine. And I bless you now with peace that surpasses understanding. I bless your mind with clarity. I bless your heart with courage. I bless your path with guidance. I bless your future with hope. Walk forward with confidence, my beloved child. This was always between you and me. Amen. My beloved child, this was always between you and me, but what I have spoken to you must now echo beyond this moment. You have received peace, now become a vessel that carries it. When you give through super thanks, stand in membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are advancing my word into hearts I am preparing. Your generosity is seed, and I am the Lord of the harvest. Your gift is oil, and I keep the lamps burning. Your obedience is a spark, and I breathe fire upon it. Remember my living word. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed, and I am declaring that over you now. This is sacred partnership. This is kingdom work, and I will not overlook a single seed you place in my hands. I will multiply it, protect it, and return blessing upon blessing to your life. Now act in faith. Give boldly. Join the mission. Sow into what I am building today.